guys, welcome back to the AB page. This is Alex, I'm Brandon, and today we're going to start a new series called Our Top 5 Favorites, where we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite games in different categories and different themes. Today, since we have Christmas coming up pretty quick, we wanted to talk about 5 of our favorite family games. Now, every family is different. We realize that these are our 5 favorite family games. Some people might think some of them aren't or are family games. It's one of those things. A family game is anything that your family can sit together and play. I know we play everything from the simplest card games all the way up to games like Viticulture and Scythe, Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion we like, which for a family of 3, which is what we are with a 10-year-old, almost an 11-year-old, that's the kind of game she likes to play. She likes to play some of the bigger games, so we play them. But there's just a plethora of really good games out there right now. What are some of the games that we're not going to show that you think would be good?
In my opinion, I think if you have older kids and you're pretty much a bigger family, maybe like Scythe or Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion would be good.
Yeah. What about games like a couple of the roll and writes like That's So Clever?
Yeah.
If you it can teach math, and that's really a lot of the mechanisms that I like for the younger kids. Teach you something, matching, math, stuff like that. Things that come to mind to me would be like Horrified. Horrified is a great family game. It's cooperative, so nobody gets mad that they're losing the game, like you're flipping the table like in Monopoly. Another game that we really like, which isn't here, but is The Crew, which is a very simple trick-taking game that you can play as a campaign or just pick one of the campaigns and then work within those parameters. So,
yeah.
All right, so let's go. I'm going to start with number 1, and the first game that I'm going to show here is Cabo. Now, this is kind of an unassuming. It's very small. It's just a single deck of cards. It takes about 5 to 8 minutes to learn, you think? Yeah. The one thing about this game is the artwork is absolutely gorgeous.
Yes. Instead of having sharp corners, they have curved, basically. Everything's pretty much curved except for the numbers on the cards.
Yeah, the artwork on this is really great. And so the thing about this game is this game uses deduction. So when you put it down, all your cards are face down, and you are allowed to look at 2 of them to start the game. Then as you draw cards, you can switch them with cards that you know there are, or you can switch back and forth. It's a very quick game to take, but it's deduction. You have to remember what cards you have. You have to kind of remember the cards that your opponents have and switch and go back and forth, and you want the lowest number of your 4 cards when someone calls Cabo. So really quick game. So you can play 2 to 4 players. It's 8+. I think a really sharp 5 or 6-year-old could probably pick this up pretty quickly. Depends on how you play this. If you play it through by instructions, it will take you about 45 minutes. Usually what we do is we play 5 hands.
Yeah.
Whoever has the lowest score after 5 hands wins. So that is Cabo, our number 5.
Okay, and I will go ahead and do number 2.
Number 4?
Well, I meant 4.
4. This is number 4. Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4. We don't know how to count.
Yes!
That's how good we are.
Exactly. So this is Metro X, and Metro X is considerably a flip and write.
A flip and write.
Instead of actually using like a roll and write, which you use dice, you use cards. And in this game, you're basically, what would you say? You're
trying to finish lines of subways in order.
Yeah.
And the mechanism, you'll hear a lot of mechanism talk. A roll and write or a flip and write, the easiest way to explain that is a roll and write is Yahtzee. You roll dice and you take those dice to annotate something on a sheet. A flip and write is the same thing, except instead of using dice, you flip cards over that have numbers on them. And there's a little bit more of a mechanism to this, but
yeah. In this one, you have dry erase boards, so you don't even have to use sheets.
The dry erase boards are really nice, so you don't have to waste paper.
Yeah.
And you can just, and when you make a mistake, you can just erase it really easily with your little pen.
Yeah, there's like 3 and then skip a spot.
Yeah, you're allowed to skip spots, and that's where the difficulty in this game comes. And it is a very strategic game, but it's very easy to pick up, very, very quick. Yes. Is that all these lines intersect just like a regular subway line would, and you have to fill them in, but you can only fill them in one space at a time in order. So when lines cross, you get spaces that are broken on a line, and you have to wait for either a free space, or you have to waste numbers, and you only have a limited amount of numbers because you have to mark your spaces off on your cars.
Also, there's a card in there which is transit, and then transfer, and then the one, if there's a spot on one, it's Metro City, right? Mm-hmm. There's a giant cluster in the middle, and you want to get transit.
Yeah, you want to get your transfer there, because every time you have a transfer, you have to you multiply the number of lines that intersect it at one intersection, and you multiply it times 2, and it's another way to get points in that game.
Yeah.
So that's our number 4, which is Metro X, which is the rail and write game, which is kind of a cool play on. Yeah. Game Right does that a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, our number 3 is Reef. Now, first of all, when you see this game, the first thing you're going to think is, wow, that's pretty, and it is very pretty. Now, this is what we call an abstract strategy game. Reef is a game where you're trying to match patterns that you draw pieces for to cards that you have to gain victory points. Now, if you look at the game on the back, it has these very big, chunky plastic pieces, which are really cool.
Yeah.
They're very very dexterous. You want to hold them, you want to touch them. They're thick, they're beefy. 4-year-old kids couldn't destroy these because they're like these big, massive chunks of plastic.
Like you said earlier, like a 4 or 5 or 6-year-old could pick this up pretty easily.
Yeah, and I think it's marked 2 to 4 people, 8+. It's a 30 to 45 minute game. I think 30 to 45 minutes is really perfect there. This is one of those games though that I think Alex is this way too. When you get done playing it, you just want to play it again. It's very light. It's very simple. You can have a conversation. You can play this while you're eating dinner.
Yeah. Or even in lunch.
Yeah.
Maybe even breakfast if you want to.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah. So this is a game that we really love playing. Very big, thick cardboard player boards. Mm-hmm. Kids are not going to be able to destroy this very easy.
Yeah.
And that's always something to think about in family weight games, because you never know when the kids are going to pull it out and start going through it and stuff. The cards are regular deck cards, but very fun abstract strategy game that has kind of an ocean theme to it. Really pretty, really fun. That is Reef, our number 3.
Okay, and now our number 2.
Okay, she's going to go insane now because she loves this game.
Yes, I do. Number 2 is Similar Fables. In this game, there is also another game to it, which I will talk about later. And in this game, you are trying to get clues, search for similarities, and find out the secret character. So basically, this is a
deduction game, right?
A deduction game.
And the thing about this game, I love watching the groups of kids play this game. Because, and especially with a little bit of adults kind of steering them, because there's so many different ways to show similarities and differences between a character that you're trying to describe and a character you've drawn. When the clue giver gives out their clues, they have to say it's either similar or different than one of 12 characters already out there. Then it is up to the players to deduce which characters don't fit that, and then exit those from the game and try to get all the way down to the last character. The problem is that there's boys, there's girls, there's redheads, there's blondes, there's non-human characters in here. There's people with blue eyes, there's people with brown eyes, there's people with green eyes.
Wings. Tin.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
And so you never know exactly what the clue giver is saying. There's a difference between. And as you exit more characters and you get those cards, you can say, well, this character is different than this character, but similar to that character. But those two characters might be very, very similar or very different. So it's a very challenging game. It's one of those games you lose a lot. We have lost this game a lot. But it's one of those,
won like 2 or 3 times.
We've only won 2 or 3, and we've played a lot.
A lot.
The thing is, it's one of those games when you get defeated,
you don't feel bad.
You don't feel bad. Yeah, you're not mad.
And this is also one of the games where it's like, oh, let's play it again. Let's play it again.
Yeah,
let's play it again. Let's play it again.
And those are really the games that I personally find best for family games. They're games like Cabo, like Metro X, like Reef. These are games that as soon as you're done playing, you want to play again and play again and play again. And there are times when you can play Cabo, 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10 times in a row. I know we played The Crew, which is another one we talked about. And I think we, when we ended up counting it up, it was like 9 or 10 times in a row we played. And it was like that. It was just really quick. And
after like 2 or 3 times playing The Crew, you understand it, and it's like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah. Although I think The Crew and Cabo are really close to one another. I like Cabo because of the artwork. The artwork on Cabo is really pretty. The artwork on The Crew is fine, but
the artwork is weird.
And I love the artwork on Similar Fables. This artwork is really pretty, and this is for a 7 and up. I think you could probably go down to 5 if you have help. If you're helping that 5-year-old along, I think they could really get Similar Fables. And there's also Similar History, which comes with historic characters.
And then there's a new one coming out that's animals, I think?
Yeah, and there's one that's myths, too. And they have similar animals coming out. And the cool thing about it is you can actually mix the decks.
So, let's say you wanted to play myths and Fables, that would actually be a very interesting mix.
Yeah, and it's because you're just looking at similarities and differences, it allows you to use decks kind of all together. So that is our number 2, which is Similar Fables. Okay, now we come to number 1. And this is going to be the biggest, heaviest game on here, but it is a game we love to play. When you take this out of the box, you think it's so complicated, but it took you, about a half hour to learn? Half hour of the first game. And that is Wingspan. This game is one of those games that I think in the last couple of years is kind of moved the board game hobby forward. This has opened up the board gaming hobby to a lot of people that weren't gamers before. A lot of people don't like, like dungeon crawlers where you're killing animals or killing ogres, and people don't like, spells and sorcery. This is collecting birds.
Yes, you're a bird watcher and you're trying to find different types of birds.
And you're collecting your birds and you're using the powers of those birds that are within the actual powers of those birds. So if you have a hawk or a bird of prey, it actually can prey on smaller birds to give you extra points.
Yeah, so like a hawk says, if this bird is so-and-so this size...
Yeah, it's like if it's like under 90 centimeters, then you can predate that bird, put it under your card.
And then doesn't that give you extra points
It gives you an extra point at the end of the game. So you have to feed your birds. The birds lay eggs. It's just an all-around really pretty game. We find it's a game that when you get a lot of people together, they really have fun.
Yeah, and there's 2 expansions for it. There's Ocean Birds and
Oceania, and then we have
I can't remember what the new one
there's a new one coming out actually this month that's going to be awesome. So these guys are our top 5 favorite family games. We want to say thank you for joining us. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that bell icon for notifications. And leave a note down below if you love any of these games, guys. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.